Good morning. It is a little after 5 a.m. and I have just checked in for what will be the longest ferry ride of my life so far. On the longest day of the year. Happy solstice. And we're going somewhere I have never been before. I'm very excited. I'm born and raised in BC and have been living on the road in my van with Frank full time for 11 and a half years. I spent most of that time in BC and I've yet to go here. So this summer is about staying home, seeing a bunch of places I've not really, if ever, spent time. And so this is a pretty big one. I was like, what is that noise? That's my alarm. That's my alarm going off. That I need to get up and check into this ferry because I was sleeping in the lot just on the other side of check-in. I need to make coffee. I struggled for a moment to figure out why there's no bloom. It's because there's no beans in there. I didn't put them in the press. Ow! Hey Frank, what do you think about getting up this early? I know we only went to bed like 4 hours ago. That's okay. You get to sleep all day. It's gonna be nice and cool in there. I managed to fill a couple of my water bags at the bottle filling station inside, and that is why I prefer soft-sided water storage in the van. That's what I've always used. I've never had hard tanks or anything built in, so it's a lot easier to find a tap to slip a bag under. So it is an hour before we set sail. They started loading about 15 minutes ago. This boat only holds 35 vehicles, but it is a tight ship. So they have to pack it very carefully, and they check everyone's ID before getting on. And when you check in, most ferry routes you don't have to show ID, but for these longer northern routes, you do.
Yeah, hard that way. We're gonna turn you around and back you into right here. Nice and slow.
Alright, while they continue to load this boat, I'm going to eat something and pack a bag for the day.
We'd like to welcome you aboard BC Ferries and the Northern Seaboard.
It is a beautiful day to be at sea, but it is a little rolly. It's a small vessel. I'm starting to feel a little seasick, so I've been sitting around the middle of the boat and watching the horizon. I think things are starting to calm down. It could be a long day. So they've just announced that we're going to be entering more open waters and that the boat's probably going to get rougher. So I'm just going to do what I've been doing and really try not to lose my carrot cake. As we continued into open waters, it definitely got a lot rougher for me. People were struggling to walk around, and I found it actually was easier to prevent myself from being sick if I laid down and closed my eyes. So I did that for quite a while, but then I ended up getting cold. So I went inside and I got lucky to find a place to lay down there, and I fell asleep when I woke up, we were on calmer waters, but I had missed the announcement to go down to check on Frank. But because I had asked them about checking on Frank, somebody came and found me and personally escorted me down to check on Frank, which was really, really nice. As it turns out, he was the only dog on the boat. But he was fine. He was totally chilling. Everything was cool. Frank's a great traveler. After checking on Frank, I spent the remainder of the trip on the sun deck, which has 360-degree views, and I was very relieved that once we entered the fjords, the ocean was calm, so I no longer felt seasick and was able to truly enjoy the scenery, which got better and better the further we went. These birds here are the marbled murrelet, one I had never seen before, and happened to be my bird of the day on the Merlin app, which made it extra awesome to spot them out at sea. Because it is a rather small vessel, there aren't a lot of people on board, and it felt easy to socialize, which was really enjoyable, especially once we started spotting whales, and everyone was in such a great mood, sharing an idyllic day cruising the British Columbia coast. We ended up seeing quite a few whales, which is always a pretty good possibility on this route, but not something I would expect. I was just happy that I ended up with such nice weather, as I did have to book my sailing many weeks in advance, as they do tend to sell out. So there's really no way of knowing what the weather is going to be like when your day finally comes. There also aren't a ton of sailings throughout the summer, especially earlier in the season, and I specifically wanted to be on a 10-hour sailing from Port Hardy to Bella Coola rather than one of the 16-hour sailings, since I knew Frank would be totally fine alone in the van for 10 hours. As you saw, I do get opportunities to go down and check on him, and dogs can relieve themselves anywhere on the car deck, but aside from brief openings, the car deck is completely off limits, as the sailings can get very rough and dangerous. Every single vehicle has their tires chalked, and the motorbikes were strapped to the car deck. Most people will want to pack a bag for the day, but there is a cafeteria where I enjoyed poutine for lunch, but unlike the larger vessels, which I took to Haida Gwaii last year, there are no sleeping cabins. If you're wondering about the cost of this trip, my ticket for myself and the vehicle was a little under $600, but this will vary depending on your vehicle's dimensions. The fare for just myself was $195, and the rest was for truck, and Frank got to go for free. It is pretty pricey for a one-way trip, but given I was already on Vancouver Island, it was actually around the same cost as taking a ferry to the mainland and then driving around 1,000 kilometers to reach the same destination. And since I would be driving out of there along the same route, I thought this was a better way to arrive and get to see a beautiful section of the coast and basically enjoy a scenic day cruise. As we started to near Bella Coola, the ocean turned milky with fine sediment running down from the nearby glaciers, and before I knew it, a surprisingly small terminal came into sight, and I was finally allowed to join precious Frankie, who had slept all day cozy in his own home. It had been a long day for me with very little sleep, so as soon as I unloaded, I immediately went in search of a place where I could spend a little time outside and then get some much needed sleep. So grateful to easily find a relaxing place to sleep by the river, but sleep isn't what happened, and instead I got a burst of energy and motivation to start capturing this remote part of the BC coast. It wasn't until after nightfall when I finally settled into my van, at which point I was so exhausted that I actually struggled to fall asleep. But when I did finally let go and allow sleep to take me, it was glorious. Future Amanda here. I am currently packing for what will be one of my most ambitious backcountry trips ever. I leave tomorrow and there are so many unknowns, but one thing that is certain is how I'm going to be hydrating, and that is with this video's sponsor, who is Drink Element. I'm honestly as nervous as I am excited about this trip, but it feels really good knowing that at least I'll be properly hydrated with the tastiest electrolyte on the market. I have been drinking electrolytes on all my adventures for many years, and Element is by far my absolute favorite and the one I've found to be most effective. What I love about Element is there's no BS in their electrolyte drink mix. There's no artificial colors or flavors or caffeine or gluten or soy or sugar. It's just a science-backed blend of electrolytes. And if you think that 1,000 milligrams of sodium is a lot, trust me, it is not if you are sweating. Electrolytes play a vital role in so many different functions within the body. And so it's really important to replenish what you lose when you sweat. Personally, I'm a big sweater, especially in heat like this, even if I'm in and out of the water all day. So I've noticed that I feel so much better when I add Element to my water, and it helps me to be properly hydrated and just makes drinking water super tasty. I find the drink mix is so handy on the go, but Element does also come in a 60-ounce can of sparkling beverage, which has the same great electrolyte blend. If you'd like to give Element a try, or you need to restock, go to drinklmnt.com/TIDELINTOALPINE. And when you do that and you make any purchase, whether it's the drink mix or the sparkling beverage, you're going to get a free 8-count sample pack included with that purchase. That sample pack has 2 each of their 4 fan favorite flavors. These are all great flavors. I really enjoy them all, and this sample pack is a great way to see which one you'd like to try next, or share with a friend and still get to try them all for yourself. Now that deal is only available through Element partners like myself when you shop through the link, but the great thing is that every time you shop through that link, you can get the sample pack with purchase. Thanks again to Element for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna get back to packing. I'm gonna let you get back to enjoying my adventures in Bella Coola. Good morning. I slept so well here by the river. I got almost 10 hours of sleep, which was really needed. And then I decided, as much as I wanted to go explore, that this was a nice place to just spend a slow day, hang out with Frank. Good job, Frank! First blueberries of the season. They're a little tangy, but really nice. Very happy to have some blueberries right here in camp. I think I saw some salmon berries left down by the ocean I might go check out later, but we're having a nice time hanging out. Might just set up the hammock. It's a warm day out there in the sun, but here next to the creek it's a very nice temperature, which is a big reason why we've decided just to spend the day here, taking it a little slower. I have this tendency to want to try to like do everything and see everything, and you know, because I'm really excited being somewhere I've never been before, that urge is really strong, but there's no way that I can do that in the time I have here, so I'm just gonna like let it go. I'll see what I see, and you know, I can come back someday. Was a little smoky, which was surprising. It was so clear here when we arrived, but there's a fire east of here on the highway, so I don't know, we'll see how that develops, but the smoke didn't get too much worse throughout the day. And then again last night I had a wonderful sleep, so I'm just enjoying coffee here. Frank is laying out by the river. It was really nice to have another slow morning here and to get a video done. This was a great place to get my feet under me. In the new location, get a little caught up. Now I feel ready for adventure, so we're gonna drive into town for the first time, and I don't know, just go find places to spend the rest of the day. We just went for a drive. I didn't have anywhere in mind. I was just kind of getting a scope of the area, and I pulled into this wreck site trail to turn around, and the path seemed good for Frank, so taking him for a stroll to see some big trees. It's really nice to see some untouched forest, because unfortunately there was a lot of logging in British Columbia. Yeah. Hey, you enjoyed your ride? We're so lucky to have a wheelable loop here, Frank. We're so lucky to have accessible trails. Yes, we are. We're very grateful for accessible trails for my old guy. And someday, hopefully, I'll be old and I'll appreciate them for myself as well. We were just in town for a little bit to upload that video because there is basically no cell phone service anywhere but in town. And I'm having a snack. It's like the most Canadian snack ever. I haven't had these in ages, but today I was feeling like walking down memory lane, enjoying some icy cold creek water, and yeah, there's still lots of day left, so hopefully get out for a hike. I am headed out for an evening walk Feels really good to get out and get moving after a couple relatively chill days. Truck is parked in the shade. Frank's inside. It's cool enough for him. He's just gonna snooze. And I have brought my bear spray because there is a pretty big grizzly bear population here. And yeah, I think that explains that. I don't normally hike with bear spray if it's just black bears. I'm not too concerned about them. But grizzly bears are a whole nother creature. So, got my bear spray, got my inReach because there's no cell phone service. I got hands for mosquitoes, and just gonna stay aware and enjoy my first hike in this area. I came out for a walk to see my surroundings, but also to get exercise. And it's really steep. It's really steep. And they don't use switchbacks here on these less popular trails. So I am breathing hard and sweating a lot. And I honestly felt a little nauseous all day. This is not helping. I thought about turning back, and I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going at a slow pace. And if I throw up, maybe that will settle my stomach. Oh, that breeze. That breeze is so nice. Okay. What the frig? I mean, there's trail below my feet, but I don't think people hike this very often. Well, according to the map I downloaded for this trail before coming, this is the end here. Yeah, this is the lookout, I guess. I don't know, there stopped being signs a while ago. My app says I'm on trail. I'm pretty sure I could just go through the bushes and end up in the Alpine. It's not too far off, but it's like 8 p.m. So I'm gonna go down, back down to the bottom there where I came from. But yeah, good hike. It was really hard and steep. I'm honestly a little nervous about going down because it's steep. It's just loose dirt. Had a bit of a wash up in the creek there. I rinsed my bangs that are just really long. Couldn't decide if I wanted to trim them or grow them out, so they've just been getting longer for months now while I try to make a decision. Anyways, first impression of the trails here are that they're pretty rustic and adventurous. Right now, this one is a decent size. This flat part, people ride horses here, so the horse people look after it, but beyond that, it was pretty adventurous. This is one of the closest trails to town. Not a lot of people live out here in this valley, and I'm would like to be proven wrong, but at this point I'm going to assume that most of the trails that leave and go up the sides of the valley are going to be equally steep and rustic. There's mosquitoes. There's lots of mosquitoes here. It's not lots. It's not lots at all. It's basically no mosquitoes compared to the Arctic. But for anyone who doesn't normally encounter mosquitoes, it's a lot of mosquitoes. Anyways, it's an overcast day. I'm gonna go check out some things. There's like a waterfall. I'm gonna go to the waterfall first. And then there's some rocks. Water and rocks. That's what I feel like checking out today. And we're just gonna just see how the day goes, make the most of it, because I think there's gonna be a bunch of rain coming over the next 2 days, which is very, very common here. Yeah, and honestly, the cooler temps will be nice. I made it to the end of the trail where there was a nice view, and then I continued further up a goat trail, and I've now reached the end of that goat trail, unless I want to walk out onto those really steep, really slippery, wet waterfall rocks, which I don't, because I'm quite enjoying my time here. So I was hoping to find somewhere to dunk, go for a cold soak, but I guess I'll have to look elsewhere and just enjoy the view from here. I had my camera lens cap in my shorts pocket on the way up. It is soaking wet from my sweat. Yeah. I saw a couple coming down on my way up, and they were wearing like pants and like long sleeve tops or jackets or something. And I didn't understand because I'm like in shorts and a tank top and just like pouring sweat. I'm a little jumpy today. It's a squirrel. It's a squirrel yelling at me, talking. But yeah, there's grizzly bears, which I mentioned. And I just, haven't run into a lot of them yet. I'd rather not. But at the same time, it's good to get that experience. So I'm not going to let it stop me from getting out. It was a really nice hike up through the forest. I really like it in here, actually. Lots of big trees. It is lovely, but I will say the view of the waterfall was better from the highway. And I was hoping to fly my drone, but turns out I'm still in the airport zone, just near the edge of it. And my controller said I had to get authorization, but there was no way to get authorization or to input authorization if I like phoned the airport. So I got to figure out how that works, because I'm pretty sure I would have been allowed. Like, there's no danger if I was just flying like right in the waterfall channel, well away from any planes. I mean, if the plane is in where I'd be flying, there's bigger issues. Anyways, Anyways, I did not eat before coming on this hike, and those two little handfuls of berries have burned off. So I saw a sign for a park. I'm gonna go there, make some food, hang out with Frank. I really needed this. I didn't see them on the way up because I was enthralled with the Devil's Club there behind me. Gonna enjoy this now. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Hi, Frank. He really loves those treats, but they're super messy, so I just give them to him outside for the most part. He is really good at cleaning up after himself, but I've got us a nice spot here in the shade. Yes, and there is a trail. The trail, I might take Frank down. So I had 2 pieces of toast with egg and was still quite hungry. And then I remembered that toad in the hole exists. That's what I know it as. I think this is a dish that there's a lot of different names for. But basically you just like punch a hole. And when you fry your toast, you crack the egg into the hole in the toast. It's been a long time since I've had it. I feel like this calls for baked beans. I thought it might be less work than frying the bread and egg separate. But I do like the even distribution of both you get with more work. Earlier, Frank was sniffing pretty intensely and barking with a bark I know to be his bear bark. And I didn't see anything, but then a couple ladies just came by on bikes and they were locking them up to go hike the trail I'm parked next to, and they just looked down the trail and saw a huge bear. So they couldn't tell what kind it was, but there's tons of berry bushes around here. So they decided not to go for a walk, and we probably won't either, at least for a while. I just don't think Frank would enjoy being in his backpack and having us run into a bear. Alright, I totally hit a wall a couple hours ago. I've just been working. I do not have it in me to do another adventure today. I only slept 4 hours last night. Yeah. The thing about hiking uphill is it tires me, but like the rush of like feel-good chemicals also makes me like really awake. Makes it hard to wind down and get to sleep. But it has been an awesome first few days here. It's been really nice to finally make it here and to be able to get to know a part of coastal BC that I've yet to explore. You know, I'm born and raised in BC. I love it here in BC. If there was one place I had to be bound to for the rest of my life, I would choose British Columbia. And in particular, I am a coast mountain girly. I love to be by the ocean. I love the plethora of granite in the coast mountains and the way that forms the land and the plants that grow. All of it just really feels like home. So it's really cool to be somewhere I have never visited and get to know it, and to also feel at home in a new land. So it's going to be the end of this video. I look forward to spending a few more days here and sharing that with you in the next video. So if you haven't subscribed already, please hit subscribe. It's one of these corners. Hit subscribe. Hit that notification bell so YouTube will hopefully actually tell you when I put out videos, since I don't have a regular publish date. And if you would like more content from me, then consider becoming a patron. I share a lot of photos, stories, and exclusive videos there. and it really does help support me as a creator. With that said, a huge thank you to patrons and to channel members, and I'll see you soon.